Shevuot Daf Lamed Dalet Amud Aleph, 12 lines down. We just brought four different opinions as to why we said that a person who swears falsely about testimony is only chiyab if it's regarding money. Four different opinions. Now we're going to go one by one and see what issues we may have. Matkif Rabba Bar Ula, O Bitui Achichu. We said that the o's of we proved that it's considered money because we said the testimony swear and the swear of deposit, and both have o, and you compare it. And the problem is, there's a swearing that also has the word o, shehen oyin, v'yesh imahen shavua, there's a swearing going on there, but any mahen kohen, there's no kohen, no excuse for them, like we had with Sata, umidabrin shelo b'tvar hamon, it's not about money. So how can you can't learn from there that it's not about money? The Gemara says, "Mistabra makes sense. Me don't have enough to learn from deposit, which teaches you money. Sheken tahate tahate also gzera of the word tahate. The Gemara says that the opposite. Me between having enough learn from the other case of swearing. Sheken hatat me hatat. They both have a korban hatat. Gemara says the ilam mistabra. No, it makes more sense. If I don't have enough, can learn from deposit. Sheken hate because it has the following common denominators. It's both have the word chet written by it. B'mezid, both are chayav, even if it's done on purpose. Tav'eh v'kafren, both come from a claim to somebody and a denial from somebody else. Ve'avrein, also referring to swears in the past versus the other Shevuot Bitui is future. Where it says 1 second, Adrabah, maybe not. Bitui, I've learned from Bitui. Sheken Hata, they both have Korban Hata. Sheyarda, they both have the Korban Olav Red. And the Chomesh, they both have, and neither of them have a chiyuv of Chomesh, which means an extra 20% fee, which you do get by deposit. So the Gemara says simple answer. Hanech nefishin. Yes, there are common denominators between both. However, the common denominator is between the shivua of a deposit and a false shivua of testimony. Those have higher common denominators. Therefore, we go according to the majority. Okay. Rabbi Akiva merit the second proof. Bayaki yishem lahat me'ele yesh me'ele chayav yesh me'ele shu patur. Take kaitzar t'va'u mon chayav t'va'u patur. That was the proof. So we said 1 second. You learned from the pasuk that the fact that it says you're chayav only sometimes, it means only chayav if it's money, but if it's not money, you're patur. Where says it? Okay. Who says it? It means the opposite. The only time you're chayav is with no money. Why do you have to say that it's only money? Where it says Rabbi Akiva, he also learns the word o. Gzera Shava from Rabbi Akiva, from Rabbi Lazar. Now the Gemara says, if that's the case, my ben Ab ben Rabbi Lazar ben Rabbi Akiva, what's the difference? They both hold the same thing. The Gemara says, no, ben Ab is a difference. Mashbia adei karka. If the guy is trying to make someone testify regarding land, let be hayavin. The Lazar says hayav because he learns from the pasuk that seemingly that you're able to make Gzera Shava from his sources, including land. Rabbi Akiva says you're patur. But he learns because he says this when it says these it means excluding land. Rabbi Yochanan says mashpia adei karka that you can force someone to swear regarding land. I feel like even according to Eliezer Patur, according to him, what's the difference between the two opinions? Remember says the difference between them will be whether or not they hold your chayav for false testimony in the case of penalty. According to Eliezer, you hold your chayav, and Rabbi Akiva will say Patur. Third proof we had. Rabbi Yosef Yomer v'hu aid ora'a o yada. Ba'idut mekiyemet b'ri'a b'lo yadi'a b'di'a v'sonah b'ri'a ha'ketum b'ber pasuk Torah makef. There's sometimes you could see but not know, and now we're not see. Now, maybe the rest of it is not hold like Rabbi Acha that what he holds. Rabbi Acha holds that you can accept evidence that even if you don't see it, but based on the circumstances, circumstantial evidence, you can accept it. Kind of, it says. He says that let's say if camels mating amongst other camels, and then you see one camel dead on the floor, you know that the other animal killed him. You could charge the owner of that camel to kill him. They mate very violently, even though you didn't see it happen. The Gemara says, if you really hold Rabbi Achad that you can go according to circumstantial events, you can also hold it regarding capital cases. Like happened to what happened to Tanya. Rabbi Shimon had to throw back to the Batra and Sanhedrin. I saw a guy running into like a abandoned building, chasing someone else. But I went after them. And I found the guy holding a sword, and the guy was chasing the hand. But then blood dripping from it. And the guy on the floor was dying. I told him, Rasha. Me Haragoze, who killed him? Ani Ata, only you and I are here. Mama said, like, what can I do? I can't execute justice on you. Me. It says, you might hamet. I have to witness it with two witnesses. But God should punish you. What happened was, They didn't move from there. A serpent came and killed it. Rabbi Yossi holds that you can accept circumstantial evidence, and even in the case of Shimon Meshach, you'd accept that case for punishment. This is against what we're saying now, that seemingly that you don't need both knowledge and vision. You don't need a full uh, case happening in front of you, seeing what's going on and knowing what's going on. The Gemara says, maybe you say you can agree to them. However, it doesn't go against what we're saying now. Why? I can have a case where the guy knows without seeing, because you could say in the case where the guy I didn't see it, but I we both know what happened. However, how can you have something where you see but not know? Mila Ba'ayimeh, that must it must be you have to know. How do you not know who the guys? For example, Reuven killed Shimon, but I don't know if Shimon is a Jew or not. The other guy, I don't know if he's a Jew or not. Gemara says, you of course need to know. Did the guy kill a Jew or a goy? Did he kill a healthy person, or did he kill a guy who's going to die very soon, regardless? And therefore, you wouldn't be chayav punishment. So therefore, we say basically holds that regarding swearing falsely only applies and where the testimony can be based on either seeing and testimony based on knowing by itself. The Gemara therefore proves. Shema min abasi from here. Kasar holds. Mashbi'a we can force someone to testify, and if he's he's chayav if he doesn't testify correctly in regarding to case of edei kanas penalty cases patur. These are the chayav because you think the chayav and the shahna. I can have a case of you can't be chayav because why? If it was chayav, then you can have a case of knowledge without seeing, like the case of circumstantial evidence. Riyah below diyah. But in the case of sight without seeing, right? How do you know that the guy did something wrong with a Jewish girl, an un-Jewish girl, and therefore you can't charge him? Okay. Ask the question. Someone says someone else, I gave $100 to you as a loan if I couldn't claim as witnesses. And witnesses were watching outside when it happened. Maya, what's the halacha? Did they say, meaning the guy didn't notice the witnesses there? The witnesses did not know what was happening? I'm over there when it says, well, let's see, what's the guy saying? When you're claiming you owe me money, what's the guy answering you? EMR, if he says, look, how you told him that never happened, Hosai Kafran, we know he's lying because it definitely happened. EMR, if he says, In Shakli, I was taking my money back, Ki Atudim, I have it. Witnesses testifying on what? They don't know what's going on. Amarle, he says, Hamnuna at ulta, love your problem, I love the way you think, and therefore, come enter the Bet Midrash, you're hired. Right? So he fact that he said you have to go according to what the guy is responding. That will give you your answer. Someone told his friend, I counted $100 and gave it to you next to this pillar. He says to him, I never passed, I didn't pass it over there. Two witnesses came and testified that he did pass by those pillars. And he actually urinated there. Amar Shakish, I was like, oh, he's a liar, therefore he has to pay. The Gemara says, no. That's Persian justice. It's not fair. Mika Amar He never said I never passed by the pillar. But I say, he's saying I didn't pass by to give you money for this transaction never took place next to a pillar. That's what he meant. He never said I never passed by. And therefore not approved. The Gemara says a different version of how it went. Told his friend, my name is I counted $100 for you next to this pillar. I answered him, I never passed by this pillar. And two witnesses came and testified that he did pass by this pillar. He actually urinated there. Says, he is a liar. Not approved. Yeah, okay. 6 years ago, the guy urinated there. Things that are not so compelling or monumental, if the guy forgot, it's understandable. The guy urinated there 5 years ago, that's fine. That's not when he said I didn't pass there, it means I don't remember passing by there, and I definitely did not have a transaction with you there. Therefore, even though the witnesses testify against him, it's not considered him lying. Rabbi Shimon says, Hayav can Torah says you're chayav for swearing falsely over here in regards to testimony. But chayav b'kedon also is by picadon you're chayav, and he had a kal chomer. They in Eretz Yisrael they laughed. So my hukah, what was the reason why they're laughing? I'm going to try to piece by piece go through what Rabbi Shimon said, and see if there's something what they laughed about. I mean, what could we say about this that they didn't like? Titani, maybe it might be the following. Heads up, they're going to go through every single part and we're not going to find it, but let's go piece by piece. Breita says, sorry, spoiler alert. Rabbi Shimon said that the Kal Vachomer did not, maybe because maybe the Breita says, because maybe regarding the swearing in Bikadon, Shekin lo asam ba mushbak nishba, because the Torah does not equate one who swears by himself versus someone telling him to swear and he says amen. Mezid Kushigan also, he doesn't equate a guy who did it on purpose versus a guy who did it on mistake. Now, Michti. The problem is that is why, because let's second. Mushbam piasma ba'idut Rabbi Shimon minale. How does Rabbi Shimon hold that a guy who swears by himself is chayav by testimony? The Gemara B'Gidan learns from the deposit. B'Gidanami regarding deposit also mushbam piachrim the Gemara B'Idut. He learns the concept of testimony by others is learned from testimony. Is the by deposit the swearing of that is learned from the swearing of testimony. So how can Rabbi Shimon say there's no chayuv? The Gemara says mahuka. The Gemara says 1 second. That's not a reason to laugh. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Then Rabbi Shimon bekavachomer might Rabbi Shimon learned that through kavachomer you're chayav. Mipi achirim chayav mipi asman lokoshikin. Once you're chayav through others, you're definitely chayav by yourself. Not a proof. Okay. So now, maybe they laughed about the following: that the concept that you're chayav on purpose, just like a person did a mistake. Kind of says, regarding a deposit, chicken loss, we didn't equate the person did on purpose, but sorry, by himself versus by others. Or a person did on purpose versus by mistake. Michti, let's see. Mizid Gabe do their chayav regarding swearing falsely on purpose. Because his pasuk did not say it was forgotten. But regarding deposit, also never said it. So how can Rabbi Shimon say in that case you're chayav? You're patur rather. Mar says, what's the problem? Maybe in regards to deposit swearing, knowing doing it on purpose is not chayav like a korban. Just like a person did a mistake, another from Me'ilah, a person takes something on purpose from the Bet HaMikdash, he uses it, he's patur. Gemara says, 1 second. It's a good problem because why? Why learn it from Me'ilah that you patur, learn from Me'ilah that you're chayav. Gemara says, Mistabra, maybe more sense, Me'ilah having left, learn from Me'ilah, Shekem Me'ilah, because it's the same concept of misappropriation of usage, which is used in that pasuk. The word me'ilah is time both. The Gemara says, Adrabah, no. Me'ayut learn from me'idut, because the word pasuk says het by both. The Gemara says, Mistavar me'ilah have it makes more sense to say to learn from me'ilah sheken me'ilah because by me'ilah they have the following connections, the following common denominators. First of all, it uses the word me'ilah. Second of all, it has bakol, applies to everybody. Anybody could be hayav touching me'ilah stuff. Nehene, also the person who is messing up is the one who's benefiting. The kavua both get a korban hatat, the same type of korban, not all of it. Chamesh, they both chayav for 20% by me'ilah as well and the deposit. The asham, they both bring korban asham. Gemara says no, adrabah. Meidut learn from meidut. Why? Because shekin hayt, the word hayt is used. Hediot applies to anybody, not just Bet HaMikdash stuff. Bishvua, both of them you have a shavua. Tav kafre, they have a case of claim and denial. Ve'oin, also you have a comparison of All right, so that is 5 equations, and the case of Me'ilah has 6. The Gemara says that's the point. The 6 cases of Me'ilah are more, and therefore we're going from Me'ilah. Ella, okay, fine. So that's everything is so far hunky dory. Then what did they laugh at? Mahuka, what did they laugh about? They laughed for the fine. Mifti. Rabbi Shimon Gezerah Shabbat Gamir. Rabbi Shimon says, use the Gezerah Shabbat to teach you that testifying, swearing by testimony and swearing a deposit is connected. Why? How can he ask a question on the Kal Vachomer by saying Malik Pekadon Shekin Lo Asa B'Mushbah Nishbadat that do not equate by deposit a guy who did it by swear by himself or by others Mezid B'Kushagate or a guy did it on purpose on mistake. Rishimon seemingly says that the case of a deposit and a testimony, the differences are a person who gets asked to swear and a guy who did it on purpose. But Rishimon accepts the Gzera Shabbat, saying that the same, and there should be no question. The Gemara says, that's not a problem as well. When he was asking a question, before Gzera Shabbat, but after the Shabbat, there's no questions. He linked them. The Gemara says, no, you can't answer that. Man Tana, who's Tana who taught the following? The swearing of a deposit is on purpose, is not chayav for a korban. Rabbi Shimon, so we see that even after Rabbi Shimon knew the Gzera Shava, he still said that if you swear falsely on purpose regarding a deposit, you are patur from a korban. Rashi said, no, you have to explain it differently. That's the reason why, even after Gzera Shava, he would have a question against the Kal Vachomer by saying that the guy who did it on purpose is like a person who did it by mistake regarding testimony, but not regarding deposit. The Gabar La Milah because he learned from Me'ilah Yapatur. The Anach Nefashim because we said earlier, Me'ilah is more equations. That's why Yapatur. But regarding the question regarding a person who asked to swear by himself, did it swear by himself versus asked to swear by someone else, he never had that question. Okay, so let Rabbi Shimon go back to the testimony of a person swearing regarding testimony and learn back from deposit. Mezid lav keshugeg. A person does on purpose is not like a shogeg. How? Ma pikadon shogegin. Just like a deposit, if a guy did it by mistake, he's chayav. Mezid lo, but not on purpose. If he does swear on testimony, if he swears he doesn't testimony shogegin, mezid lo. Only if he did it by mistake, he's chayav, but not on purpose. Ki echid yalif pikadon meila, just like meila. Maybe that's the problem. Mar says no. No, that's impossible. The Torah specifically mentioned the halacha by testimony, gabei Shevuot bitui, next to the halacha of swearing for other things. The gabei tumat mikdash kedusha, next to also the halacha of the tuma of Bet HaMikdash and the hegdish. The bekulan ne'emar be'elen ne'elam, all of them mention that he forgot. The Kan, regarding testimony about Shevuot regarding testimony, lo ne'emar be'elam, they don't mention he ever forgot, and therefore la chayav al mitzik should teach you that even if he didn't forget and he did it on purpose, he's still chayav. Amen.